Making your way through work Monday takes everything you got. Then Monday night rolls around and you realize there's a shot. You're only 10 points away. All those times when your team had no fight, they're just so gosh darn frail. Then your star quarterback let another deep ball sail, and your third round pick bet on his team. Then go check out our strength where everybody knows your pain, and they listen to complaints. You wanna be where you can see our bodies bring you no shame. You wanna go where everybody knows your pain.
Welcome into another episode of Dad Bod Fantasy Squad. You were making me real nervous. Like, you started doing this.
Damn.
He's like, shh, yeah. What's up, dude?
What's up, brother?
Not super ready for tonight's episode to get roasted about my ranks. That's for sure.
I'm excited for it. I look forward to this all week, baby.
I like so it is the best part about these episodes where we're like doing what we call defend your rank or kind of debate your rank, whatever you want to call it. The best part is like it really, I do a lot of formula builds to get my stats where they are, and then a lot of manual adjustments. That doesn't mean I hit everyone though. So a lot of times it does help to kind of wiggle somebody back up or down.
Yeah, you don't hit them.
You know when I hit them too, because like there'll
yes,
be like
I do.
0.15616, and then it will be like 0.3 or 0. Yeah, it's a process. It is a long process, and that's kind of why. Speaking of, Rob, actually probably after this episode, I think I'm going to work on getting our rankings live, getting them to the point where everybody can view them. They will be up to date from whenever we change them, which is the best part. Like, you think about certain things, we've been considering different topics in different platforms, Medium, Twitter, like videos, even our videos that we're making right now, they're probably a little outdated. Like, I was looking at my top 12 for QBs. It will be popping up on TikTok soon. Outdated already. A little bit.
I mean, last night, for example, I had a slide on there with one of my wide receiver rankings, and it was already different. So that's how quickly, a day's time, somebody shifts 5 spots.
Yeah. Especially now, right?
Yeah.
Like June, July, we're
It's
heavy
dead time.
editing these. These are like, and it's dead time. It's conversation. Like you, me, and Nora just had a conversation where we talked too long about everything, but all three of us came out with a little change on our wide receiver rankings. Like we did.
Charging my phone because my battery was dead by 3:00 this afternoon from the amount of texts that they were going after.
Yes.
It was a bloodbath, but it was fun.
It's a lot of rankings are the toughest part. Obviously, everybody ranks differently. You pick whatever the heck you want to pick. Robbie just goes with gut feelings. That's why he hit on Amon-Ra. I mean, you just go with what you know.
And I'm right all the time.
All the time. Yep. Number one ECR ranking. Yeah. Let's see how right you are, buddy. Get into the ECR this year.
I'll be in it.
Yeah. Well, let me text Cody. Okay. So did you have anything before we start this up a little bit? How many games are we going to play? I've been waiting to play this.
You've been waiting. So we'll play the, what is it? Waddle?
Yes.
Waddle. So I'm excited for some Waddle. I guess what we could, Mario, while we got the platform and everything like that, one of our top viewers for us, Tiff, it's her birthday. So happy birthday to Tiff.
Happy birthday. That's awesome.
Yeah. We'll get that out to her. We'll clip it and send
it. But I have a friend's birthday that's today. Happy birthday, man.
I know 5 people. It's their birthday today. It's crazy.
That's wild. No, that's cool. That's awesome. Happy birthday. We're going to a
We're
Green
coming
Bay
to Green
game
Bay.
eventually. Yeah, there
Yeah,
you go.
we're coming to Green Bay.
This is I just accidentally hit the mic button on my phone. It's copying everything. Man, we're off to a bad start when I'm already out of coffee, dude.
That means he's going to be real jittery within a couple minutes.
I do get jittery.
You
do get jittery. All right, let me
I
not
can tell when
talk.
the coffee's hitting.
It should have already, but I'm still a little slow right now. You ready to play some Waddle?
I'm ready to play some Waddle. Are you ready to play some Waddle?
Where's is Willie on here?
He liked it.
He did like it. Willie, you want to play some Waddle? I can't see your comments if you're commenting. We'll see if he pops up. All right. Waddle. So start us off, Rob. I do have it on easy mode. Hard mode is like you got to go normal mode first, but I think it pretty much adds defensive players.
Okay. So we're going all offensive players.
I think it's all offensive on easier normal mode. So start it with somebody. Who do you want to start with?
Let's go with Christian Kirk.
That's a good one.
I like it.
All right. So, a little younger.
Okay.
We're not even close, and it's got to be NFC, little younger, little taller, different position. So let's try an RB or tight end.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, there's Willie. Let's go CMC. I mean, we'll stick with the Christians, right?
Yeah.
Oh, now we're talking. Oh, CMC's not taller. That was stupid.
So it's a running back. It's not. So yellow means it's not that, right?
It means it's close. It's not quite. Like, see how NFC West is highlighted? That means we're in the NFC now, but not the West.
So it's a running back in the NFC that's not the West.
A younger running back, yeah.
Rashad White.
That's solid. Is he taller than 5'11"?
I feel like he's shorter. And he's definitely younger.
Who's 6 foot? We need taller than 5'11".
Oh, taller than 5'11"?
Taller than 5'11". Taller than 5'11".
AJ Dillon.
He taller than 5'11"?
I think so.
He's not taller than 5'11".
I mean, what running backs are taller than 5'11"? I'm going AJ Dillon. Go AJ Dillon for me.
All right. It's not going to be him.
Take 2 of those and call your doctor in the morning, baby. Let's go.
Nailed it. We weren't even that close yet.
That's how good I am. Again. I told you.
I don't want to do hard. I think it's forcing us into it. Yeah, it is forcing us into hard.
Yeah, because I'm so good.
Start us off.
All right, so there's definitely defensive players in hard, I would assume.
Yeah, there is. There's definitely.
Oh, boy.
But you can kick it off with whoever you want. We can see if they're defensive or not.
I know. Let's go Tyreek Hill.
Cheetah.
It's not going to be him.
Ooh, but we're offensive.
Okay, offensive.
Yeah,
younger
than 29. Close though to 29, so somewhere maybe like NFC. 26 and above. NFC, offensive.
Not a wide receiver.
Let's try George Kittle. We're cooking. We're not a tight end. And we're between 5 to God bless it. I keep messing up the age thing.
Okay. So we're younger. So I'm thinking a quarterback, right?
We could be quarterback or running back. Yeah. We're not too much younger than 29.
In the NFC West.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. NFC West. Cam Akers?
I think it's got to be older.
Older than Cam Akers?
Yeah, because look at Cam Akers is 23. Look how close we are here.
How old's James Conner?
That would be close. And that is it. Yeah, that's a good one. Wait, what's the height? Is he taller than 5'10"?
I think so. He's a tall back.
Oh, good call. He's taller than 6'1" now, younger than 28.
So he's a quarterback.
Oh, it's a
That makes
quarterback.
sense.
Yeah, it's a quarterback. Quarterback in the NFC West.
Quarterback in
That
the
narrows
NFC
us down.
West, younger
Gino?
than 28.
No, he's not younger than Gino.
Gino's older.
Kyler's way shorter.
Yep.
The Matthew Stafford, is he taller than 6'1"?
He's older than 28.
He's older. Who's the last one there?
We got Brock Purdy. We got Trey Lance. We got Sam Darnold.
I think it's offense. I don't know if they do
Go
offensive
Sam
line.
Darnold. Go Sam Darnold.
Well, it's not San Francisco though. It would have showed there.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it's not San Fran. It's not Arizona. So it's got to be the Rams or go Gino.
Gino's older. Dude, I'm starting to think that this goes beyond quarterbacks.
It could be a backup.
It could be a backup.
A backup quarterback for.
So it's not San Francisco. It's not Arizona. Yeah, like you said, it's the Rams or Seahawks.
Who is the Rams' backup quarterback?
It was Baker. It's Bennett now. Yeah,
That's in Bennett.
Yeah, but
try it.
I don't think we let's do it. It will give us some answers, but I think it's
he's
closer.
not there because he's a rookie, right?
They don't have any rookies on here.
I don't think so. Who is Seattle's backup?
Drew Lock.
Drew Lock.
I don't know if it is him either, because again,
why is he not there? Oh,
I misspelled it.
Okay, it's not a
older than
quarterback.
26. Oh no, we're a lineman. We're a lineman on the Rams. Oh,
Shorter than. So who's the center on the Rams? Look that up.
you can't look it up.
Do you know the
know.
center on the?
Oh, we're so screwed. This is why we can't do hard mode.
I couldn't tell you offensive lineman.
Well, let's confirm that we're not stupid here. Yeah, so it's the Rams.
How many guesses do we get?
10. So we just have to guess till we're done.
Okay, so he's 27 years old.
27.
I'm assuming the center for the Rams.
Why the center?
Because they're always short.
6'2"? Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, that's short.
Are you looking it up?
Oh, yeah.
How could you?
Ryan Allen.
Ryan Allen?
Yeah.
Brian?
Brian.
With an I or a Y?
I.
Boom. You cheated.
Okay.
Let's do normal mode one more time. How much?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Normal mode's more fun because it's right up our wheelhouse. Let's play again though. Oh, you only get one play turn, I guess.
What?
What is this?
2 hours?
Well, we've reached our max.
Looks like we're moving on to the NFL news.
Let me close this out. There you go. All you.
NFL news for the day. J.K. Dobbins is dealing with a soft tissue injury, Mario. Are you concerned with this so early in camp?
I was just buying it. I literally just moved him up in my ranks quite a bit.
I'm fine with it.
I was ready.
It's still so early.
I don't understand all the hate that he gets when people are like, yeah, he's injury prone. One injury. One massive injury. But then this doesn't help my points.
Yeah, but it's a fluky little thing. I'm okay. I'm not worried about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I hope he's all
right. Sean Payton is optimistic Devonta will avoid the PUP list to start the season. Are you buying in the hype?
I don't think so, dude.
Sounds a lot like JK from last season.
Sounds a lot like JK from last season.
Yeah.
There isn't anything to like necessarily give you other than coach speak. Like everything we're hearing about Brees is he's actually on a great timetable right now, like looking good. Devonta, you're not hearing any bad things coming out, but initially you heard how bad this ACL tear was.
Yeah, if it was a clean just ACL tear, it'd be one thing, but it was the PCL, the MCL, all the other crap that goes along with just the ACL. So I'm staying away this season. Jahan Dotson says Sam Howell is the guy for the Commanders. I mean, everyone kind of thought that's how it was going to go, but are you excited or did you want
I'm not.
Kobe?
I don't even believe him yet. I don't.
It's interesting that he came out and said it.
It's an odd thing a little bit, especially as a second year.
Yeah. No, it's interesting for sure because he's throwing Jacoby Brissett under the bus.
A little bit. And Jacoby Brissett came out and said, well, I wouldn't have signed here if I didn't think I could start, which means I'm not ready to be a backup quarterback, I guess, even though he had his years of backing up. But that's what he said.
Yeah, I agree. And we have a possible hold-in situation for Justin Herbert. They're saying that he wants a new contract and that he'll be there, but it seems like there might be a couple issues until they get that contract signed. Any concern?
Not yet, but I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, that came out today.
Going out there.
Came out today, but I think they're going to do everything they can to get him signed as quickly as they can. So I think it was a long time coming, and now is the time that they're going to iron out this contract.
We're going to see a lot of these coming up.
I think so. Yeah.
We got all of Cincinnati. We got J. Jeff. There's a lot of big contracts going to hit soon.
Yeah. We do have a ton of young players that are really kind of breaking the mold of the NFL prototypical player, like all these receivers that are coming through that usually takes their year 3 or 4 for receivers to really pop and make their stride. But now it's happening as a rookie. That's why all these running backs aren't getting signed, because nobody wants to pay the running back with all these other positions coming through as good as they are. And look at what Daniel Jones just got in New York, like if you're a decent quarterback and can get your team to the playoff, you're going to get paid.
Well, tell Kirk Cousins that.
He got paid.
He's up for a contract.
Yeah, he said he's done negotiating. So
somebody will
hit the free
take
agent
him
market last season or next season.
Yeah. That's pretty wild.
What's on the slate for today, Mario?
We got some wide receivers. I did want to kick off first to read my top 12.
You want to go first?
Well, because you already read your top 12, so I'm just getting mine read out.
Oh, I got you. Go ahead.
So we'll start from 1. Make it nice and easy, making sure that they're all in order here. Wide receiver 1 on the year, I got Justin Jefferson. Let's run it back. Number 2, Jamar Chase. I'm big on the Bengals this season. Number 3, Cooper Kupp. Return is inevitable. Number 4, Tyreek Hill. 5, Garrett Wilson. Number 6, Stephon Diggs. 7, Amon-Ra St. Brown. 8, A.J. Brown. 9, T. Higgins. 10, C.D. Lamb. 11, Devonta Smith, and 12, Devontae Adams. We don't have time to get into any of these guys and why you may disagree or not disagree with me on them. But we'll have plenty of time in other episodes. Don't worry.
There'll be later debates. Later debates on my guys.
Yeah. So if you want to kick off reading your wide receiver 13 through 24.
Yeah, let's get into it. My number 24 is Jahan Dotson. 23, Michael Pittman. 22, Keenan Allen. 21, T. Higgins. 20, Calvin Ridley. 19, Jerry Jeudy. 18, Christian Kirk, who we talked about last night. Number 17 is Devonta Smith. 16, DJ Moore. 15, DK Metcalf. 14, Drake London. And number 13 is Devontae Adams.
I didn't realize you were as with me on the Devontae Adams kind of concern.
Yeah, and it's not really him. It's just a situation that's going on there. It's a tough. I think it's going to be tough for that offense as a whole to get clicking. He had 170 targets last season.
It was ridiculous.
Something insane like
165 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't see that happening again this season. He was really good. He was awesome last season, but I just think the offense as a whole is going to take a step back. Even with Jimmy, even if Jimmy G's there, he spreads the ball around too much for my liking for Devontae Adams to be in that top 8 category. And it's just not looking good for him. He's another year older. What is he, 31 now?
Oh, no. He's, I think, 30 this season.
Why do you say, oh, no, like I was way off?
He's 30. Okay. Don't know if he turns 31 this
I feel like he plays 31 this season.
You feel that way, or he does? You sure about that? Are you sure about that?
He's 30, which
he turns 31 December 24th.
Okay, so he will be playing as a 31-year-old this season.
Yeah. Weeks 15, 16, and 17. And
regardless, he's another year older. He's not going to have a quarterback that's going to consistently throw him the ball like he did last season.
There's a ton, dude.
I'm just not super into what he's got going on there this year.
There is quite a bit of 30, 31-year-old wide receivers, 32-year-old wide receivers. Weird. We're just at a weird year in the NFL because even the running backs,
is a changing of the guards for sure.
Yeah, QBs. I feel like QBs are on the younger side. Like Patty Mahomes is old in the AFC, relatively speaking. But wide receiver running backs, man, all the superstars have aged up quite a bit.
Yeah. This year, next year, the year after, this is where we're going to see that massive transition to okay, who's the top dogs as wide receiver? Who's the up and coming running backs that are going to be those alphas for the next 5 years? And we'll get that new wave of players. Like you said, there are all the superstars that have been around for the last 5, 6, 7 years. They're all aging out. And this is when you can figure out who's going to be the real kings of the NFL for the next 5, 6 years.
Makes it incredibly tough to rank. Specifically for me, running backs, I am having a terrible time ranking some of these RBs who are getting up there in age, but their touches are even higher. Like Josh Jacobs, he's young, but he has a lot of touches on him already.
Austin Eckler, CMC.
Eckler's old, less touches than Josh Jacobs. It's such a weird thing. Like, what am I battling here? I've always heard both ways. Like, I personally believe it's the touches, but age cannot, I don't feel great in 31. I know I'm not a professional athlete, but yeah, it's weird. I never used to get cramps. I get cramps now in my foot.
Eat a banana. Dude.
I must, dude. It feels like it's like breaking. It's like, oh, and I'm like, one day I'm like, it dropped to my knees. You want me to read my 13 through 24, and then we'll get into some of these. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll start with your 24.
All right. Well, I made some changes today. I don't know what you copied in most recently, so I'm going from. You want me to start from 24? I'm going to get so confused. All right.
Just
at number 20, number 24, we got Tyler Lockett. 23, we got Deebo Samuel. 22, we got Drake London. 21, Jerry Jeudy. 20 is DK Metcalf. 19, Amari Cooper. 18, Brandon Ayuk. 17, Jalen Waddle. I try to let you know.
We're all
16, Chris Olave. 15, DeAndre Hopkins.
That's the real one I wanted to call you out on. But.
Well, there's a lot of uncertainty there. It could really fluctuate. 14, Christian Watson, which you guys spoke about him last night.
Yes, we did.
13, Keenan Allen.
Yeah, I want to touch on that. Hopkins for me, I just don't even have him really ranked. did a quick ranking on just, preliminary stuff, and then I'm going to wait and see where he lands and then adjust accordingly. But
Yeah,
for you, it's still so early that doesn't really matter. But
no,
I found it
and I also
interesting
think
he was on your top 24.
he had a fine year last year.
Yeah, and I can see him easily
It's
being
cold.
I could see him being in my top 12. I could see him being 30.
Yeah. Would Patriots make him 30 or no?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I'd go that low.
I mean, probably late 26, 27 would be.
I think I keep
around.
him in my 24, but maybe I do push him closer to the 23, 24.
That was the combo we had last night. Was like,
you know who coached him before?
I know. He also hated him.
I don't know. This is all weird.
Yeah.
These are all leverage plays I think D-Hop's doing right now.
I don't get it. And what's funny too is
you guys couldn't think of the one last night. It's the Titans, if you remembered sense.
We did say it on live. So
okay.
Tiff,
See, I
we
told
wish you a happy birthday earlier. So happy birthday.
Yes. Happy birthday. Yeah, dude. So I told you I was very in and out, obviously.
Yeah.
Falling asleep.
You caught us trying to think about who it was, and then you missed us getting it. So
yeah, yep.
Must be where you fell asleep.
That's funny. I've seen even more because I was watching you guys argue. Okay, let's actually get into the meat and potatoes, huh?
Let's, because I got some thunder coming through, and the dogs are gonna be crazy.
Okay. So the first person that I'm curious about is what's up with Devonta Smith, man? Why the hate? Why the hate on my guy?
Do you want me to get into it, or you got anything to say about it?
Well, no, I'd rather you go ahead. You do you.
Okay, so for Devonta, really like the player. Don't get me wrong. I like the offense he's attached to, but he was ranked 55th in average depth of target of receivers with 50% of his team snaps. He was 24th in yards per target with just over 9, which isn't great. 39th in yards per reception at 12.59. The big thing for me was he was 29th in red zone targets while being targeted 13th most in the NFL overall with 132 targets. And AJ Brown on the flip side of that was 4th in red zone targets. To me, that just shows that Philly isn't really sold on him being a red zone threat. So they just go for they went for AJ Brown last season. Goddard should be there a little bit more than he was last season. So that cuts into the red zone work already that he's not really that great in. And other than that, I mean, I see him more of an in between the 20s receiver. I love Hurts. I love Hurts. We all love Hurts, but the last 2 seasons he's attempted 432
It don't
passes.
seem like it.
I love Hurts, but he attempted 432 passes 2 years ago, 460 last year. I can't really see that number getting too out of control up until I don't see him getting to 550. I don't see him getting close to 600. I think it'll creep into the 500s, but not anything insane. And it's hard for me to see him getting he had 27% of the target share last season. I don't really see that happening again this year with Goddard there, with Swift coming in. He'll eat into a little bit of the targets. I love him as a player. I think he's going to be really good for a long time. But if AJ Brown stays healthy, Goddard stays healthy, I think Devontae's in for a little regression.
Yeah. So again, not calling for necessarily any of them to get injured. Goddard has by no means been a beacon of health his whole career, except
I think he'll miss a few games for sure. But he missed 6 last year, which was a decent clip.
12 weeks, 12 through I think 15. Then something like that, I think.
It was like 5 or 6 games he missed.
And then I mean AJ Brown not healthy. It has definitely been hurt before. So that's not why I'm ranked here, though. But I just want to I don't think I could even use this argument, but it's saying like, okay, you're depending on all of these guys being there. And that's how we should look at it. So I get it. But wide receiver 5 from weeks 12 through 18, Devonta
He
Smith.
had a great back half of the season for sure.
When Goddard returned in week 16, wide receiver
16,
2
17. Yeah.
over the last 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
Wide receiver 15 in yards after catch with targets 50, players with 50 plus targets. It's a hard kind of wiggle room there. I don't want to get guys that have 10 targets. Anyways, Go ahead.
No, that's why I do the 50% of team snaps. I think it's just an easy way of kind of saying you were on the field enough.
I would love that. PFF, I don't know if that pops out. I don't think it pops out in PFF when I'm looking at things. But you want to talk about red zone targets? What are we talking about here? You know who else had the same amount of red zone targets he did?
Jalen
Waddle.
Which we can get into.
DJ Moore. Terry McLaurin. Olave had 5 more.
I don't have McLaurin in my top 24. DJ Moore is going to a completely new offense.
Terry McLaurin was your darling last year. I just went for every guy that I've heard you just at least drool about before. Who cares about the red zone targets, especially for Devonta Smith, who you don't look at him like, oh, this guy should demand a ton of red zone targets. I don't see that.
What do you see?
That doesn't concern me.
Because, okay, so I understand where you're coming from. I get it. But the combination of the inefficiency I don't want to say inefficiency, but lack of usage in the red zone, combined with him being just 24th in yards per target and 39th in yards per reception, is concerning for me because they don't go super deep to him a lot. Like you think they do. When you look at him, you're like, he's a deep ball threat, but they really used A.J. Brown as that weapon last year, deep downfield. Yeah. Devonta Smith was more of that short yardage receiver, possession receiver, which is really good, really valuable. But I don't think it translates into being a top 12 for me. He's still 17th on my list. I'm not saying he's going to have a bad season, but I just don't see him, and especially in an offense that, again, doesn't throw the ball a ton. 436 or 432 and then 460 for Jalen Hurts in the past 2 seasons. Like, if you're not throwing the ball 550 times, the possession receiver on that team automatically takes a hit for me because he's not going to get 155 targets that you need as a possession receiver.
They're going to throw more this season.
How much more do you think they're going to throw?
I would say somewhere like early 500s, but they absolutely are. They're not going to be blowing teams out like they did this past year. Their defense took a slight hit. Their offense has probably gotten a little bit better. I mean, they've reloaded. Yeah, they got some young guys coming in there. They haven't played a snap yet. They're going. Oh, I'm catching the rain now, dude. They're going to be closer in games this season. I think that they are. Is she talking about Devonta?
If she's talking about Devonta, he's a great player to have on your bench.
What?
That's a great keeper.
You are. I think you're way too low on him. He finished higher than what you have, but I get it. Like Goddard was gone for a portion of the time, but this offense is insane. It's insane. It's insane. And they don't want to. The last piece I had here is like, offensively don't want to keep running Hurts, right? Like, I think that is every franchise's goal, especially after giving them a huge contract. Like, okay, let's start getting you more in the pocket. Now, does that happen? I don't know. But like, you would like to see that sort of progression play out where he gets more into pocket. He definitely was way more comfortable throwing the ball last season. So
I'm curious what I have. Keep talking. I'm curious what I have Hurts
throwing for
pass wise. See, I have him for 484 attempts.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit more than that. But
so again, another step. He went from 530 to 430 to 460 to 480, which if
there is no meaningful targets probably going past these 4 guys. Like is it what's his name? Watkins?
Quez.
Yeah, he's maybe peaking at 35. What did he have last year?
55 targets.
That's high.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that. 55 targets in an offense that threw the ball 460 times isn't nothing. It's not great, but if they throw the ball 500 sometimes, then he gets up there around 70, right? Like you would assume, maybe not 60s, 65.
I think you're like downplaying what Devonta Smith did in that final 6 last year. Like he's a second-year player.
He really did great. I'm not discounting that. I'm not trying to discount that. I understand where you're coming from, and I get why you ranked him where you ranked him, because I could see him finishing top 10. I'm not. I don't think that's crazy out of the realm. It's just they had AJ Brown had like 29% target share and Devonta had 27. Like it's hard for me to see that continue. You know what I mean? Like I actually think of the two.
I think it's harder for me to imagine that AJ Brown doesn't take a little step back this season.
I think one of them takes a step back, and for me, I'm betting on Devonta over AJ, and I think that's where me and you are kind of off a little bit.
Yeah, I actually think AJ Brown had a lot of plays reminiscent of Deebo Samuel's big year. He didn't necessarily break as many tackles and do as spectacular thing, but dude, his yards after catch was insane.
Yeah, but he did that in Tennessee. It's not like it's a 1 year. You know what I mean?
It's great and fair point. And now he has a better quarterback. He has a better team, and he's getting more targets. So I get it. It's just always hard it's always these huge yak monsters. AJ Brown is like a huge outlier for this.
Yeah.
I would say more than like, I mean, Deshaun Jackson was a guy that was always like this, but AJ Brown's just so big. So you don't necessarily expect this sort of production.
Yeah. It's pretty wild.
Smith is a monster. He should be in your starting lineup
early
season.
Yeah. If you have Devonta Smith, he's wide receiver 2 for sure. Like, I'm low end on being 17 wide receiver. Like I'm the low end, and I'll own that. Like I said, I just personally, I think one of those two is taking a step back a little bit in the target share. I think they're both going to be very efficient in this offense. I just think target share wise, one of them is going to take a little step back, and I'm thinking it's going to be Devonta just because I think AJ Brown is really, really good. Like I think AJ Brown's top 5, top 6 receivers in the league right now. So for me, that's why I'm betting on Devonta to take that mini step back. Again, it's nothing insane where I think he's going to fall off a cliff. He's still going to be in my top 24, and I'd be very happy if he was my wide receiver too.
I think you're too low on him. I don't think you're ridiculously low on him.
Yeah, and I think I truly see a world where Devonta finishes higher than AJ Brown. Like I wouldn't be surprised if that happens because I could see it. But this is the bet that I'm making is that AJ will be in the top. I think I have him top 7 or something like that, and I think Devonta will kind of slide a little bit with Goddard coming back healthy and DeAndre Swift coming in.
Fair enough, dude. It sucks when we're going to come back to this conversation and I'm just going to be like, dude, shouldn't have bet your money on AJ Brown. No, I'm not low on AJ Brown.
Fair.
I don't. Well, I'm semi-low.
I have an opportunity to keep AJ Brown in one of my leagues, and it always scares me. Like I'm always like, I'm going to keep AJ Brown until he's done. But like every year, I'm like, man, there's something about him where I feel like he's going to get hurt or there's just something's going to happen. The knees are still messed up. But he's a damn good player.
He is. He's a player that I feel like we already know that he could maybe stay in this top 12 for years. I don't think there's wide receiver 1 upside overall wide receiver 1.
Devonta?
AJ Brown. And to an extent, Devonta with AJ Brown
wide
there.
Receiver 1?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think he's comfortably inside the top 10.
Yeah.
If he's healthy.
Mm-hmm. We only seen one down year, I think, since he's joined the league, really.
Yeah. He's just good, man. And he did a lot of his work on not a ton of targets in Tennessee. That's the crazy part is when he came to this offense, he's getting the targets now, meaningful targets. I think he was number 4 in red zone targets last season with like 40 some. That's insane. And that's very valuable in a high powered offense.
39 targets. Red zone targets. Did you want me to go to your next one or did you? or
No, we'll
which
keep
one are
moving.
we going here? Okay.
Jalen. So this is the one. So I'm calling you out on Jalen, right?
Which I have moved him up 2 spots since.
Okay, still not high enough. Jalen Waddle's my wide receiver 9. You're wide receiver 19. So we kind of have Waddle and Devonta
Wide receiver 17 now.
flip-flopped.
Yeah.
So last season he was again, this is 50% of wide receivers, 50% snaps for the wide receivers of their team. He was 13th in fantasy points per game with 15.2, and that also included Cooper Kupp, Michael Thomas, DeAndre Hopkins, and Keenan Allen, who all missed significant time. So you could even move that up a little bit if you want to. He was 5th in yards after catch with 521. He was 1st in yards per target, 2nd in yak per reception at 6.95, which is wild. 7th in receiving yards, 8th in touchdowns with 8 touchdowns, 3rd in touchdowns over 40 yards, 5th in games with 100 receiving yards. He was 1st in yards per reception with 18.1 yards per catch. And Mario, the main thing here, the main takeaway from all those statistics I just gave you, he did all this on 114 targets and only 75 receptions. Those are both 20th and 23rd ranked among wide receivers. He's a big play every time he touches the ball. If it's a decent if he can get the target share up to like 130 targets, this dude has top 5 wide receiver production talent. And I'm comfortable saying that. I'm comfortable betting on him to be in my top 10. And again, like I was talking to Norton about this last season, that dude, I love Tyreek Hill, but again, he's another year older. He makes his living on being insanely fast. Like, when's the wheels going to come just enough off of that track where he's not going to be as dominant as he has been? And if he's not as dominant, Jalen Waddle is going to be a complete animal in this offense, because they're going to throw the ball a ton. So if he can get that target share up just a little bit and get into like the 130 to 140 mark on targets, this dude has all the potential in the world to be a top 5 wide receiver.
Yeah. So those stats are really nice. The 114 targets and 75 receptions is not very nice.
No, and I agree. But he was wide receiver 8 last season, 9 last season? Or what I say, 13th in fantasy points per game. So he's 13th in points per game with only 114 targets, which is crazy.
Yeah, the fear I have, and I know it's a completely different offense, but we have seen 2 versions of Jalen Waddle so far in his first 2 years. One where he actually demanded 138 targets and had 104 receptions. Did not have the I have a thing.
Tiff said Mario likes Smith over Waddle. What? That's what I said. That's why I'm calling him out.
So hey, so did college. College football did too. Don't talk to my Heisman Trophy winner like that. Yeah, it's God. I don't get it though. So Waddle in 2021 didn't have these metrics, and again, it's a different offense. It's with Mike McDaniel. Yeah. It's completely different. I get it, but we have to distinguish which ones can kind of where are we going to be consistent at? And like, I do think Jalen Waddle is progressing and he is getting better, but like, I'd say pump the brakes a little bit. As a Jalen Waddle owner, it was semi-tough play. He was tough to own last season. I probably have a text from you saying this exact same thing too. He had huge boom games against Baltimore, Minnesota, and Detroit. Think about Minnesota and Detroit's defense and what we used to say. That accounted for 406 of his yards, 4 TDs. That's 25 receptions in those 3 games alone. And the Baltimore game was insane. Week 2, week 3, nuts, blowout. They were huge games that accounted to his overall stats. I get it. That's part of the game. That's fine. There's going to be crappy teams and everything. But like a week-to-week basis wasn't as all roses and dandelions as you're painted it out to be.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
I already have pumped him up 2 spots. He went from wide receiver 19. He's already to wide receiver 17. I do not have any Waddle hate. I think my concern was everything about last season seems incredible on the higher end of everything. And it's not like the higher end for Waddle. It's the higher, like, we're either dealing with an absolute Hall of Famer or like these are huge outlier numbers. Like doing the work that he did on 75 receptions, insane.
Yeah. No,
But
it was just the dude, he has some eye-popping metrics where you see him and you're like, what the hell, man? Like, this dude could be an absolute monster if he gets a legit target share.
He did have a good year in 2021. He had a
I was gonna say, I thought
it's probably close in points because he had so many more receptions. Well, he had 25 more receptions. He had 6 touchdowns.
He was wide receiver 13. He averaged 15.4 fantasy points
in 21.
In 21, yeah, he was still really good as a rookie.
Yeah.
So like, I believe in his talent. I think that he's going to keep progressing in this offense. And I truly think, I don't know if it's going to be this year, maybe next year, but Tyreek Hill is going to have to, he's just up there, man. Like at some point when you're getting to in the 30s and I know he's a really good receiver. Like, I don't think he's ever going to be bad by any means, but he's known, like he is such a dynamic player just because he's like Olympic fast. You know what I mean? Like he's beyond fast.
Yeah.
So when you're getting up there to 30, 31, if that comes down just a little bit to like just being fast for the NFL as opposed to being just fast for everybody, it could take a little hit.
I think I go higher on Waddle. Like I think I raise him closer to 14, 15, and I probably feel much more comfortable there. Maybe a little bit higher. He probably won't crack my top 12. There's a lot of, I kind of said this already, but like the fear of regression is what I'm most concerned with Waddle. I'm trying not to. Everyone I think is down on the offense because just like that, they cannot have Tua is the thought.
Mm-hmm. That's the other.
You can't tell me that everyone isn't down on Tua, and it like seems like they're kind of Tua is like a really great value QB for where he goes at. Yeah. But I think everyone's a little bit like scared. This whole public display of what happened to the dude all last season has kind of shell shocked the whole fantasy community, which is rare and weird at all at the same time. But Waddle and Tyreek haven't necessarily taken the hits that Tua did. And like the hits in fantasy ranks. So I don't know.
That I would love, I guess I should have, but I didn't dive too deep into it. Like you rattled off some of those games that he had monster weeks, and then there were games where he didn't produce at the level that we're accustomed to seeing. Now,
yeah, those are probably
those
games
weeks that he missed. Those weeks that Tua missed were those the weeks that Waddle didn't perform well. Were those the weeks he didn't get targeted and the backup was just going for Tyreek Hill as opposed to spreading it out to both of them?
Baltimore, Tua was there, obviously. Detroit, Tua was there. Minnesota, he was not there.
Okay.
And Minnesota was one of the bigger ones too. Minnesota, he had 2 TDs in.
Yeah, just for me, man, I think Waddle is literally every time that dude touches the ball, he could take it to the house, and that's a very rare thing in the NFL. So if I can get him,
but I still find it incredibly weird that that's what you're saying now, when his whole image was a PPR machine. We thought this dude was a PPR machine year one. And I'm not saying either is wrong. Just think about the difference of how you view Waddle right now versus what you saw last season, which both were good. I get it.
And like,
but that just makes me worried a little bit. Like what one is it?
But there's a world where he's both. Like that's what I'm trying. Like that's where I'm at.
If Tyreek wasn't there, it would be.
Yeah, obviously, like Tyreek's gonna hamper that, but that's why I'm saying, like, if Waddle can get to the 130s, 140s, as opposed to, I mean, I think 130 is a good mark for him, where he can still be a really productive, just straight PPR guy, but his PPR production plus what he can do if he just gets the ball in his hands is something that can be very, very special, and could really catapult him. Like I said, I would like. There's a world where I see him being a top 5 receiver. Am I banking on it? No, I'm not. I'm banking on him being top 10. But I think the talent is there for him to produce at a very, very high level.
No, I think this is, man. I I agree with you in a lot of these, and I think you're making good points. I will be raising them a little bit more. I can't get as crazy as you in 9. I probably won't crack top 12, but I might get close.
I'm glad I persuade you because, yeah, like I said, man, I was just looking at some of these underlying metrics today and just like they were insane. They really were. Just like, yeah, some of the stuff was crazy. Yak per reception.
Two only missed 4 games last year.
Okay.
4.
Yeah. God bless you.
Just sneezed off air. I'm turning into a pro.
You can mute it.
I couldn't find the mute button.
But we all want to see you, you know.
Yeah, unless it's an allergy attack. Let's move on.
Yeah.
I have one for you. Let me make sure that, yeah, that's the one, dude. Or is this one for you? This is me questioning you.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing? Wide receiver 20. You're the high guy out of the whole crew. It's your infatuation with T-Law, obviously carrying a ton of that. There's what do we have to go from this? Like what do we have to go off of
Hold
this?
on now. Hold on. What I will say is that I understand I'm the high guy in this group as a whole, but if you go outside of our group and go into like the fantasy ERCs and all that sort of stuff and fantasy pros and all that, like he's 21, 22, and Calvin Ridley's down there around the 26, 27 mark. So I get the Calvin Ridley like call out, or not Calvin. I get the Ridley call out.
Yeah, I'm confused. Re-say that because you confused me. Is Calvin Ridley and Fantasy Pros around 2021?
Yes, Ridley's around 20. So like
and then who's around 26? Because you said Ridley was around 26.
And I'm sorry, Christian Kirk is around 26, 27. So a fantasy, there's the fantasy community.
Why? They've always loved him, and I don't get it, dude. Like the dude has gone off. He went off with Matt Ryan his first 2 years of his career. Actually, it was his 3rd year because it was wide receiver 22, wide receiver 27, went wide receiver 5, went nuclear. That was the first year without Julio. Everybody's like, oh, Calvin Ridley. Awful 5 games. His last 5 games, he was averaging 6 receptions, 56 yards, 0.4 something touchdowns. Then he was out for a year. So he hasn't played in over a year and a half. And we're plugging him right back in there?
Is right back in there 20?
I think so, dude.
Do you?
I mean, like... What
don't,
sort of,
because he, like you said, he was wide.
What's the line?
He was wide receiver 20 as a rookie, right? And then he was wide receiver 5. He was wide receiver 5 in his 3rd season when he was the alpha on that team. And now he's coming back a year and a half later. I get that after all the mental health issues and the gambling issue. And now I have him at 20. Like he went from 5 to 20. I don't think that's like plugging him right back in where he was.
But it is in a sense. Like he had one great year with Matt Ryan and then followed that performance up with wide receiver. I don't know what he was through those 5 weeks, but I just gave you his stats.
Yeah, they were terrible.
56.
It's
terrible.
But he also left this season for mental health issues. Like, I don't want to disclaim that. You know, and I don't want to throw that out there and be like, he could have really just sucked ass because, like, who knows what the hell was going on in his head.
You said alpha. You said alpha when he was the alpha. The alpha over who that season? Olamide Zacchaeus?
He was the alpha in the NFL. He was the alpha in the NFL. He was wide receiver 5, dude.
But he was wide receiver 5 with Matt Ryan, but who was on his team?
I can't even.
That's what I'm saying.
I'd have to pull it up.
But like when there's other players, Julio, which is not a fair comparison.
How about this, Mario? He was wide receiver 5 in 2020, like you said, right? He had 90 receptions and 137 targets, 1,374 receiving yards, 8 games over 100 plus receiving yards, 9 receiving touchdowns, 15.1 or 15 over 15 yards. Average depth of target, which was 10th in the NFL. He had over 10 yards per target, 15.27 yards per reception, which is insane. I don't see him getting to that level.
Offense, dude. It's so different. everything that you're rattling off from 2020 is so different than the offense that Jacksonville runs. Like, think of how many times Matt Ryan. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off,
You're
but I
fine.
can tell you're getting pissed. Think of how many times Matt Ryan has done that to multiple players in their career. I mean, he made Hooper a tight end, top 5 tight end for a season.
Yeah, but I'm
Austin
betting
Hooper.
We've talked about this ad nauseum on this podcast. I think Trevor Lawrence is taking that step up into top 5 passing quarterbacks in the NFL.
Can. That doesn't mean
and
you have to
I think
bring
he's
Calvin.
going to take that step up. And with that, he's going to have to throw the ball downfield. Like if he's going to be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Christian Kirk is not a deep threat. He's not a deep threat. Christian Kirk is what is the same thing as Devonta Smith to me, and Calvin Ridley's going to be that AJ Brown type of role where he's going to be going deep downfield. He's going to get the red zone targets in the full 3 seasons that he played. I think it was, what was his first season? 2018. He had 10 touchdowns as a rookie, 7 the next season in 13 games, and then he had 9 in that year that he was wide receiver 5.
There's a lot of mouths to feed on this team.
I agree with you, and that's why I have him at 20, and I have Christian Kirk at 18. Like I think they're all.
I think he's gonna be bad. He's gonna be very okay, I guess. Wide receiver 35. Robbie thinks he's gonna be good.
I think
wide
he's
receiver
gonna be
20.
I think he's gonna be good. 20 wide receiver 20. Like and like you said, there's so many mouths to feed on this team with Evan Ingram, Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk.
Don't forget Zay Jones. He's still a player there. They paid him.
Yeah, like he'll be fine, but I don't think he's gonna be fantasy relevant at all. To be honest with you.
The part that drives me crazy is like you think he comes in and plays an immediate role on this offense, but you won't give Brandon Cooks the love that he deserves.
Oh my God. Dude, Calvin Ridley's like 26.
No, he's 28.
So, okay, he's 28. That's still young.
Turning 29 this year.
Bro, he doesn't have a lot of wear and tear on his body. That's for damn sure.
That's fine. That's fair.
For damn sure.
Yeah,
this man's been in the gym getting ready. Trying to get him
he got in the league at like 24 or whatever the hell he was.
He was old coming into the league, wasn't he?
Yeah. He's close to. He's like 6 months younger than Amari Cooper.
There's a lot of different wear and tear on the bodies, though, right? And I'm fine with it. Like, again, I don't think he's going to be a top 10 wide receiver. I'm not saying he's going to bust and be amazing. I think top 20 is fine because I also have the amount of just sheer volume that I think this offense is going to put up, the amount of passing attempts that they're going to put up, and they're going to be able to spread the ball out enough to both receivers and Evan Ingram that just sheer volume alone. And if he can get close to some of these metrics that he has in the past, along with he's proven historically that he's very, very good in the red zone and in the end zone. So if he can get up to some of these same metrics that he was, I don't anticipate it being the same, but I think he can get around there and then get some end zone work. Again, I don't have him for 10 touchdowns, but I think he'll be fine in the red zone.
You got him there close. 8, yeah.
Yeah. But
I think your numbers are all a little inflated, so I don't even know how. His history was a whole other offense, and it was like 4 years ago.
2. Right,
we're like
3, I guess. 2.
We've already deleted these text messages on our phones. It's gone.
Yeah, I mean, and again, dude,
when he last played, there was still COVID in there.
Mario,
we were still washing. We were still washing our groceries in the sink, dude. When Calvin Ridley last played,
spraying it down with vinegar. Yeah. Dude. All right. So I completely get where you're coming from. I hear you. I agree with what you're saying that, yeah, he's coming in, but he is going to be they went out and got him. He's going to be a part of this offense. And I think Trevor Lawrence is the key to everything. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to take that step up and be very, very good and make Calvin Ridley a decent receiver for fantasy.
Key to everything, dude.
Yeah, I'm banking a lot on T-Law this year, baby.
That's the shirt right there. T-Law is the
banking,
key to my heart, probably.
T with a heart around his hair.
Yeah.
Not his face, just the frame of his hair. Yeah, I'm all in, man. I'm all in on this Jags offense as a whole, and it all starts with Trevor Lawrence. And if T-Law is what I think he's going to be, Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, they're all going to be fine.
It's more mouths than that. I mean,
Is it?
well, you have some ETN love. Like
Yeah, I think
you
ETN. I think he's gonna have more than 30
the
targets.
the amount of funneling the guys that you have, the amount of work that is funneled through them is huge. Like you're expecting like 20% target shares for each of them.
Who else is there besides Zay?
Who
else is there?
Other tight end that they drafted in the second round.
That's not okay. I'm not worried about him at all.
They drafted another running back in the third.
Not worried about that in the past.
But like you're saying, like they're adding pieces to this offense. You're like, nope,
that's fine.
Ridley, Kirk, ETN,
and Evan Ingram.
They added more. Yeah. Look at okay. All right, let's move on.
We'll see.
This one sucks that this is what you're doing to me. Like this was messed up. Every bit about this is messed up.
I didn't because I saw it on your ranking, so I decided to call your ass out for it.
I didn't even know I was this high on him comparatively. I thought it was low.
Yeah, you're pretty damn high on him, dude.
What happened?
I mean,
Mudcat's higher than me.
Mudcat and Alex are both up there, but I'm definitely low on Deebo this season. He's my wide receiver 35. Your wide receiver 23. Again, 50% of team snaps in 2022. He was 28th in fantasy points per game with 13 even. He broke 15 points 3 times in 13 games. He was under 10 points in 4 of the 13 games. 60th in yards per target, 53rd in yards per reception. He was 75th in average depth of target at 4.51. And just to give you kind of a idea of how bad that really is, he was 75th. The 74th player was 5.96. So a full yard and a half better than what he was, which is really, really bad at what his average depth of target was. And then after CMC came in, he averaged around 3 carries per game, which I gave him. I statted him out for 3. That's around 50 carries. He had more rushing touchdowns, 3, than he did receiving, 2. I'm not willing to bank that he's going to get into the end zone in the red. Like, I don't think he's going to rush for a lot of touchdowns with CMC there. It's really hard for me to believe that's going to happen. And I think Ayuk takes a step forward in this offense. So if Ayuk takes a step forward in this offense, I think Deebo is going to be the one that takes a big step back. And I really think there's some recency bias with Deebo Samuel where we all know what he did 2 seasons ago and he was unbelievable. But what now? She's back. Is she on the Deebo train or off the Deebo train?
I think just 35 is insane.
What's 35? No, it's
rank. So
why?
Look, I'm countering.
Let me finish this off.
Let
me finish this off, and I'll let you go.
Steaming.
Okay, out of his 4 again. So what I was saying before you so abruptly interrupted me.
I just made a face.
Before you abruptly interrupted me, I think there's recency bias with him because we all know what he did 2 seasons ago, and he was so good in the rush aspect of the team. So in the 4 seasons that he's been in the league, he was wide receiver 28 last season with 13 points. Then he was wide receiver 3 with 21.2. The year before that, he was wide receiver 46 with 11.5, and year before that, he was wide receiver 34 with 12.6. Like, I don't think he's done anything outside of that 1 season to prove to us that he can be in the top 24. Like, I don't think he's done anything like that. And I don't think he's going to get a lot of rush work now that CMC's there.
I'm just trying to do something before I go, even though it's distracting me pretty poorly right now. Yeah, but what I was going to say, and I can't pull it up fast enough because everything has 2-step authentication. I resent the recency bias comment massively, right? Why? I have a whole article written around this time of why everything about Deebo was overpriced last season. Everything.
Yeah, you have him at 24. 23.
Which is fine. I don't get where you're coming from. Before his injury, so maybe this is a little cherry picking, he was wide receiver 22 in points per game. Like,
that's still not good.
He's a playmaker. He's a yak monster. We knew the regression was coming. Your ranks for all of these guys are low. Ayuk, wide receiver 32, Kittle, tight end 6, Deebo, wide receiver 35. Like, what gives? When Purdy was there, Ayuk was wide receiver 18. You know what Kittle was?
What do I have Ayuk at?
32. You have no love for any of this
Are you
offense.
sure about that?
Are you sure about that? Am I wrong?
I think you're wrong, dude.
I don't think I'm wrong. Don't change
Oh,
it.
you're right.
I'm looking.
No, he'll come up. He'll come up. Because
But, like-
I do have some love for Ayuk this season. I think he'll be fine.
Kittle was tight end 1 with Purdy. Like, what are you this and
I don't like Kittle. Never have.
on Jacksonville, you're like, oh yeah, we're funneling over here, we're funneling over there. On San Fran, you're like, nope, just CMC, nobody else, just CMC.
No, I mean Ayuk's target share will come up because I only have him at 112, so that's definitely going to come up. And Deebo's is 110, which I don't think that's crazy at all. I don't think that's crazy.
I don't think my line for Deebo is that crazy. It really isn't. Like, I bet. Well, this is the worst part. Your line for Deebo is probably better than mine. It is. That's the difference in our rank. So I shouldn't even say it because it's just a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
You have him for more than I do.
Do I?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
How many points?
I didn't see that until you just said it. 229.
See, I have him for 220. So we're not far off, but I have other guys ahead of him that I like better. And we've talked about this. I tend to.
Yeah, I think you just need to even.
I tend to definitely make my ranks a little higher than what they will come out to, but I think they're all going to fall in line with the position of it. Like, I rarely bring up my fantasy points, like saying I think he's going to have 220 points or whatever that is. I'm very comfortable with my rankings on how it will fall, as opposed to like my exact ranking or my exact points per game, if that makes sense.
To fast, the numbers are the ranks that you have them out of the entire NFL wide receivers, right? Yeah. You'll see mine's 23, Rob's 35. Our group consensus has them at 24. We're specifically, I think you know this, but I'm just going to say it anyways. We specifically are only doing like fantasy points, not necessarily like skill ranking. Obviously, it's all baked in when you look at fantasy points, but dude, that's crazy. I didn't think in a million years I was ever going to get called high on Deebo Samuel. And I still don't feel like I am. The dude was doing this exact right before he went down with injury. I'm
not in on it, man. I'm not here for it. I'm not. Just with the underlying stuff, dude. I know he's like a big play making receiver and stuff like that, but just how shallow he's targeted and per his routes and stuff like that, it just doesn't give me any optimism that he's going to be a legit threat. Like, yeah, he's going to bust one. We know he's going to bust one every once in a while. We know he's going to do that because he does that. But every other reception he gets, he's going to get 4 or 5 yards. Like, that means that's nothing to me. I could care less about that.
Yeah. It's crazy because the guys that we spoke about so many times tonight, you talk about how good at yak they are, how good at like doing work on limited number of targets. Deebo had that season, and actually the season before it was limited because he got hurt, but it was still a very good season.
That's fine, and you can say like I agree with you that I've been talking about yak and all that stuff, but it's a combination of a bunch of different things, right? Like, it's a combination of his yak plus his average depth of target plus his all those other metrics that I kind of bring into the equation. When I see that, yeah, he's very good at yak, but his average depth of target is nothing. His routes per run is like very minuscule. He's going to be up a little bit more than I like. If he wasn't so good at yak with all his other underlying metrics, he'd be like wide receiver 50 for me. That's how bad all his other stuff is.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's been known though. It's not all his other stuff because like some of his yards per reception was insane. His target share was never good.
No.
But on that team, the percentage wise, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't amazing. No, that's been his type of receiver. Tiff asked, did we already do our top 10 wide receivers? We have. We'll be putting out clips on TikTok, but I also said at the start is I'm going to work probably tonight to get these ranks up and posted via Google Sheets, where it will just be like the ranks. It won't be like stats or anything. And then maybe throughout the season, we add things to that. Not quite sure, but just got to make sure the Google Sheets can work the way I think it can. So we'll have, I should get them up tonight. Robbie.
I like it.
You got anything else?
Do I have anything else besides being completely pissed off at you? No, I don't think so, man. I think you've spent me for the day.
To everyone.
To the world, Tiff. We're giving our rankings to the world. Is it just the dad bod rankings, or is it like
it would be all of ours? I just have to figure out if Sheets works.
How to lock it.
Oh yeah.
Watson. He was on our show yesterday.
Till you see wait till you see where Rob has him. And then wait till you see where I have him.
He's not going to be happy with me.
I got him nice, and I think 14 is me, right?
Yeah, you got him at 14.
You talked about him yesterday.
Yeah, you got him at 14. I got him at 26 right now. And again, it's just a different. I'm not sold on Jay Love yet as much as you are, but I love Christian Watson. He could easily finish top. Like I can have him moving up pretty easily if I wanted, and he might. He might come up a little bit.
Okay. Now that we have this outro, do we just be like, peace, and then click it? Like, how's this work, dude?
Yeah, I kind of, yesterday was easy because I had Norton. So I did, if you don't follow Norton, follow him at 0723. And I was like, peace.
Yeah. Well, for Robbie, for myself, peace out. Thank you for watching our episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
If you aren't already following us on Twitter, check us out at DadBodFS.
We'll be posting all of our best clips and videos to all of our social media: TikTok, Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. You can find us on there at DadBod Fantasy Squad.
Lastly, if you'd rather just listen, we make sure we post our audio of each episode on all the major streaming platforms. Stick with us all season long so together we can count our trophies and not our calories.